I know you go rogue. No. At my dad's shop, we did this. Her handprints over, like, by her own self. Put your hand down.
It's flat.
Lay it down.
Yeah.
Ooh, there it is. Good job.
We're all gonna do the same hand.
Naturally.
Matchy match. You ready? Very good.
My hand.
Okay, are we ready?
Humidity sucks all the moisture.
I'm gonna write something. It's gonna say poo-poo.
I'm Jameson,
And I'm Jamie.
and this is Braden and Maddie.
We recently took a leap of faith, trading in our home in Georgia for some space in my parents' house.
We gave up my high-paying corporate job to pursue our dream of building stuff and empowering others.
Whether we're building a family,
Building a business,
building a house,
or building a table,
we like to do it ourselves.
this is our DIY life.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of our dream house build. We had a lot of big exterior things that happened in this episode.
This is a fun one because we get to wrap up a lot of the exterior and get it just about finished. So we started with siding, and we went with a board and batten look. We wanted that whole modern farmhouse vibe.
But we did break it up a little bit in a few places. We added some
That's right.
shake.
Shake.
But it was more of the square shake, not so much like the roundy ones.
Yeah, we wanted the nice clean lines. So we went with I think they call it a smooth shake, and we did that in a couple of the gable ends. But other than that, it's the whole exterior of the house is sided with hardy siding. It's a cement board, so it's going to last a really long time. It takes paint and holds paint really well, and it's just a good, clean overall look. So we had our Amish carpentry crew come back out and install all of the siding. We knew that wasn't something that we wanted to do ourselves because there's just a lot of siding. A lot of siding. So they did an excellent job, and we love the way that it turned out. But one thing that we did do was we went around, and once they were getting the siding up, we had to prepare the siding for exterior paint. So with the siding going up, most of the nails are actually covered. The nails that secure the panels to the wall are covered by the battens. For the 16 gauge finished nail holes and the battens, as well as the trim boards around the doors and the windows, we're gonna be using a new product from DAP called Platinum Patch. And this stuff it's actually very interesting to me because it's not like a caulk where it's gonna shrink, but it's paintable like caulk is. However, it's more like a wood filler. So we're gonna fill these holes. It's gonna give us a nice solid hole that's filled, and then it's also sandable. So if you get a little carried away with it, you can come back and sand it down. So big thanks to our sponsor for this episode, DAP, for getting us ready for that exterior paint. We ended up going with a polar bear.
Polar bear.
Polar bear is the color.
It is very difficult to find like the right white for a house. I didn't want it to feel too cold, and I didn't want it to have like that creamy yellow, so we settled on this color, Polar Bear from Bear.
And it's a nice crisp white. It really looks good, it's clean, and we love how it turned out. So we got the majority of the house painted with 2 coats of paint in about a week, and then we actually had to get a man lift out here to be able to paint the back gables.
Yeah, because even though our painter is super tall,
6'9" to be exact.
He is not tall enough to reach the back of our house.
He doesn't need a ladder inside, but outside he might need a little extra help.
soon as the paint was getting wrapped up on the exterior of the house, we got all of our stone delivered.
And we went with, it's called Mountain Ledge is the style, and the
Yeah.
color is slate. It's from Environmental Stoneworks, and it's just a very nice cultured stone look. It's a
Yeah.
dry stack look, so there's no grouting and stuff like that. And it looks really, really good.
So as much as I love the vertical board and batten, I also wanted to break the house up and like kind of have it more of a, I don't know, what would you call it? Natural vibe?
Sure, I like that.
Sure. I wanted it to not just feel so like, you know, white modern farmhouse. So we broke it up with the stone. We chose to go the whole lower half of our house is stone. So all
Well,
the
not half.
basement wall.
It's from like the
Well-
top of the foundation wall down.
Yeah,
So it's
to
like
the
the
basement.
lower few feet, but then when you go around to like the walkout
It's all
basement,
the way down.
it's all the way down.
Which made a really, really cool spot in the back of our house too,
Yeah.
because the way that our house sits into the hill, we actually had to cut some of the hill out and pour some retaining walls back there. So we chose to do the stone on the retaining walls as well to kind of give it like this cool
Yep.
cave vibe. I'm going with a lot of vibes today.
So we had the fireplace that we had to frame out in a previous episode. We got that all wrapped. The stone guy went ahead and put a scratch coat on that, which is a thin layer of concrete, so that he could adhere the stone to that. A couple other issues that we had to do or had to work through was the front porch. We did, rather than a poured wall front porch
Yeah.
with a solid foundation, we ended up putting setting posts out there. So we ended up having to beef that up, and I wanted to continue that stone around the front porch, so we put some skirting with a scratch coat as well on that, so that we could adhere that stone all the way around and make it look continuous throughout the lower half of the house. So overall, the stone turned out amazing. Again, the style is Mountain Ledge. It's the slate in color, and it's from Environmental Stoneworks. If you want to find out more about all the options that they offer in your region, then make sure you check out the link in the blog post, as well as the link in the description of this video.
So after the stone was all wrapped up on the house, we had our front pads poured.
Yeah, with all the exterior approaches, the concrete approaches, we went ahead and had those poured. We've got one that's a 20-foot deep approach onto the front of the garage. We did a 10-foot approach on the back of the garage with a sidewalk that goes over to the back deck. We also laid a sidewalk from this approach that we're standing on here all the way up to the front porch. And we like those organic shapes and lines,
curves, not just like a square
Yeah.
sidewalk.
We went with a lot of clean lines on the house, so we figured it would be nice to give a little nice organic curve to the. I've been saying
Little.
organic a couple too
I
many
said
times.
vibes a lot, so
Okay.
you're totally fine.
All right, cool. So we got that poured, and we also got the front walkout basement poured in between the two retaining walls. It's about a
Yeah.
35-foot long approach.
We
and
kind of struggled with what to
Yeah.
do there at first. I thought about like a paver down there, and then I had this really cool idea of like just like these concrete squares coming out. But with our roof and like the rain and like in that area, it just gets a lot of water. So the best option we had was to pour a concrete pad and kind of like slope
Yeah.
it away from the house. It solved a lot of issues just
It did.
doing that.
And
And
with-
with the stone, it breaks it up.
Yeah, and with the freezing and thawing that we have around here in the spring, we wanted to make sure that those slabs didn't heave, because if they do heave, that would impact the stone that's on the side of the retaining walls. So we went with a solid slab. We pinned it to the retaining walls, so it's sitting on a footing, and it should never move. It should be there for good,
Theoretically.
theoretically. So one other thing we had to do was we had to bring in power to the house, and we also had to get water to the barn. So our well runs into the house, and the power comes from the road to the barn. So we rented a trencher that could dig down to below the frost line, which here is 42 inches. So we dug a 42-inch deep trench, and then we laid our water and our power line in that trench, as well as some conduit, just in case we wanted to get any cables to and from the barn.
Coils. Mike?
So we tried to get that trench all wrapped up in a single day. We dug the trench, laid the lines, and then covered it back up. One thing that I forgot to put in there was our Ethernet line. I had some underground Ethernet line from the barn to the house.
Because we don't need internet.
We do need internet. It's very important. So luckily we put the conduit in, so we'll be able to fish that line.
Yes, and
through the
all is
conduit.
well in our world
All is well.
with internet.
Another thing that we had done was we had natural gas. We have natural gas out of the road, and we had that ran up to the house. We have the barn and the house. So the way that it worked out, we worked with our local gas company, and we decided that the best option was to run a meter at the barn and a meter at the house. So they came out and they, what do they call that? Direct?
Trench.
It's like they basically
Bore a hole with that machine.
through the earth, and this guy's got this little transmitter and he follows it around and tells it which direction to cut into the ground. And it's really neat to see the process. They can take it, you know, a couple hundred feet and just direct that line exactly where they want it to go.
It surprised me that they got that line ran within just like a couple hours
Yeah.
and they were done.
It's pretty amazing to see how that's done, and now we've got gas for all of our appliances. All right, guys, that wraps up episode 8. Thank you so much for tuning in.
In the next episode, we're moving inside and you get to see all the fun stuff we have going on in there.
So make sure you don't miss out that one. It's going to be coming out really soon. Until next time.
Be safe and happy building.